Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Football Heritage TV, the home of all things Tottenham Hotspur and our beloved leader, Ange Postecoglou, who is on Sky TV right now talking about he's falling out of love with the game. Good. Leave the game. Morning, Nick. How are you on this lovely Friday morning? Looks lovely and sunny where you are.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, it was a late one last night. I got back from with Sim, who nearly said those two dreaded words that he didn't want to say. Ange out. I got back about 1:45 in the morning, so yeah, I'm a little bit weary this morning. And but you know, what did we expect from last night? But there you go. We'll get into that, I'm sure.
We will get into it. I mean, just quickly, I'm going to read you. These are the quotes going across the screen right now. Breaking news. Postecoglou has said, I made a mistake in celebrating a goal. There's no point anymore because of VAR. I mean, talk about deflecting. He went on to say this, I am falling out of love with the game. I love celebrating goals. I'll make sure I don't do it again. He's such a horrible bloke. He then went on to say, I'm the lone voice. I'm disconnected. Maybe it's because I'm from a different generation. Please go back to that generation. When I retire, I will probably find a new hobby. He then went on to say, this is a brilliant one. The players are fighting tooth and nail to try and address our issues. It's unfair to target them. I mean, Nick, if ever I've seen deflective tactics for how shit he is as a manager, it's this, isn't it? I mean, this is, forget how bad a manager he is, forget how many defeats, forget the god-awful tactics. Let's blame everything now on VAR and his love of the game. And Nick, if he doesn't love the game anymore, hand the reins over.
Yeah, look, what about when the injuries come back? Can't use that excuse. What about the pitch? Can't use that excuse. Now we're using VAR as an excuse. I mean, I said this last night. I don't know why it took so long, because when everyone watched that tackle from Sarr, you could tell straight away that's a foul. And realistically, you know, people will argue it to the hilt. Realistically, based on what we saw the night before that wasn't given as a red card, you could argue that Sarr was lucky that he stayed on the pitch.
Right.
I think that to then come up with I'm blaming VAR and then coming up with I was trying to G up the fans and get them excited. Well, I don't know about anyone else. And, you know, Danny Kiriakou said it. We've all said it. You probably all said it last night. If you're G'ing up the fans, you're going like this. You're not going, you're not giving the old Hulk Hogan. Sorry, mate. Can't hear you. What? What's this? What's this? Oh, what? You were booing me because I took Bergvall off and put Sarr on and he scored. Mate, he's just embarrassing. Like, oh, I shouldn't celebrate. You don't normally celebrate, or you celebrate rarely. And the emotionless
manager talking about celebrating. The emotionless, like, that's like me coming on screen and going, yeah, I'm normally very shy and timid. No, I'm not. What are we talking about? What are we lying for? What are you lying? Why lie?
I just think everything is just, I don't think it makes a difference, but he'll still be here for, he'll still be here for Sunday. We'll beat one of the worst teams that's ever been in the Premier League. And then, we're back. Ange's going to win the Europa League. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And as George says, welcome, George. Always been a very good friend to me on this channel. We are 7 subscribers away from 17K. 7 guys and girls. Like we want to put Spurs fans out of their misery and sack Ange. Put me out my misery and just get me to this bloody 17K. 7 of you. That's all it takes. 7. Probably how many goals we'll put past Southampton when we're back. when Ange boy's back. Listen, we will have a few more people joining us throughout the morning. Nick, we will look at the team from last night. We'll look at the game, how it panned out, the talking points. We're going to have a look as well at some crazy... When you're a YouTuber and you have an email address for people to see, you get sent a lot of stuff. Some of it not very nice, some of it really good as well. So I'm going to bring up some of those things. I did just want to read this. I found this hilarious. I sent this to you guys last night, Nick. I got an email last night. This is no lie. Nick, you can back me up. I sent you this email, right? Yeah. I got this email last night from someone called Lay, L-A-Y. And it said this, and I'm not lying to you. Look, I'm not lying to you. It said, I was on your YouTube live a few hours back when you shamelessly, I like this, good word, shamelessly accused Son of shushing the fans. Do you have any evidence at all? Now, at this stage, I just want to point out, I actually said there's reports that Son has shushed the crowd as well. That's how you treat a man who has done anything and everything for the club. And what have you done? What have you done?
What have you done? Yeah, what
Savva,
have you done for this?
What have you done? Ben, I'll start again. This is the email I received last night, Ben.
Yeah.
I was on your YouTube live a few hours back when you shamelessly accused Son of shushing the fans. Do you have any evidence at all? That's how you treat a man who has done anything and everything for the club. And Savva, what have you done? I get if you don't like him anymore. Never said that. But you better cross-check your facts before speaking fake news to your audience, which is why more people throw him more hate. Disgusting behavior from you, Savva.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself, Savva. Yeah?
What? Literally, I think all I did was say, I'll tell you what I did. I'll show you what I did, guys. I'll show you. Good morning, Ben. I'll show you what I did. I literally brought this picture up and said, apparently, Son has shushed the fans.
Direct hate at the guy that wrote that tweet, not you. You just forwarded information. You just push the message forward. It's
you know what? My response back to him was something like, laugh out loud, grow up. And he responded saying, me grow up. I was like, what are we? I said, this is an email address about inquiries. Like, what are we doing here? Welcome, good morning, and welcome to 2025, everybody. Welcome to 2025. Let's start as we mean to go on. The Sanctuary of 7. I said, Savva. Yes, Sanctuary. If a conjoined twin goes to jail for murder, what happens to his twin?
That's 42, isn't it? 42. It's the answer of everything.
What is... There's someone in your background. What is...
My brother.
I'm joking. This is a great question. Let's chat about this for 60 seconds. If a conjoined twin is jailed for murder, what happens to his twin? This is a great question.
Well, it goes with him, doesn't he?
Or maybe they go under house arrest.
Or she goes with her, because not only males can have conjoined twins.
But maybe the other twin was complicit, so then they both were sent down. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting question. It's more interesting than Tottenham Hotspur, that's for certain.
Could someone Google that for us and let us know what the answers
think what they would do is they would get home arrest, and they would if you're a conjoined twin, you would probably have issues that you would need to have looked after anyway. So you would be on house arrest. And
I mean, the better question is, if Ange Postecoglou gets sacked, do the Ange fans get sacked with him? There's a better question for you.
I hope so.
That would be incredible.
Yes. I don't know about you boys, but in any other business, in any other job, any other walk of life, if you goad your customers, because let's face it, we are customers. They have treated fans like customers. If you do in any other job, if you're taking the mickey out of your customers, out of your fans, out of your people, especially the away fans, that no matter who the manager is, no matter who the players are, they are there. Rain, sun, snow, hurricane, shine, any weather, they're there. you should be sacked. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
That is vicious. That is a man that is completely and utterly incapable of doing a high pressure job in any walk of life. And he is managing a workforce of a multi-billion-dollar company, and he can't even keep his own ego in check for 2 minutes.
Yeah, Ben, you're right. You're right, Ben. But do you know what? I don't know what's more outrageous. Ange Postecoglou or Wolfie's opinions on Nottingham Forest. Let's be honest. I saw the ridiculousness from yesterday, Savva, with you on Dan Potts. His ridiculous takes about he'd rather finish in the top 4 than win the FA Cup.
Shut up.
Then watching, because then they go and get their 3rd star. Nonsense. To then seeing the absolute fraud last night on the touchlines. I think, has anyone actually seen Wolfie and Ange in the same room? Because I think they're the same person.
No one has seen you, Wolfie, and Barry from EastEnders in the same room before. You're all the same person.
And I'll say it again. I said it last night. This all started when he got rid of Emerson Royale. So he gets what he deserves, Ange Postecoglou. I just
don't understand how, before we get into the game, I don't understand. We've got a manager now arguing and fighting with the fans, arguing and fighting with interviewers, now coming out and saying he's falling out of love with the game, lying and saying that he celebrates goals. Like, listen, I know we hate him, but where is my Daniel Levy? Where is my Daniel Levy? Where is the Daniel Levy that we went, yeah, you got to sack someone, Daniel. Daniel sacked them. What on I've said before, guys, I don't care about winning the Europa League at this stage. At the moment, it will feel like the most tainted trophy ever. Like, winning that does not make up for what we're seeing every single game at Tottenham Hotspur. It doesn't. The winning the Europa League is not enough for me to say, oh, he can redeem himself. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And good morning, Maz.
Morning, I don't know whether Daniel Levy is right in terms of, if he sacks him, is he going to be lauded a hero? Is that
yes? Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Perch is going to be popping the bubbly.
If he sacks him before the Frankfurt game, I'm getting a shirt with Levy on the back. I don't care. At the moment, he could be my hero. I hate Ange more than I hate Levy. There you go. I've said it. Maz, what we saying? Good morning to you. How are you?
I'm not going to stay on long. I've got work to do. But I watched the game yesterday, and like everyone else, I was furious. Not because I didn't expect that to happen, but his whole demeanour and his attitude just towards the club, football, not even towards the club, but towards the fans who want better for the club, not the Anginas, because I'm almost doubting whether they really are actual Tottenham fans and not just come in from, I don't know, like the fans that come in when a new manager like Jose goes to a club and they're just following from club to club, those types of fans. But is there any manager that you've seen that is so unprofessional, childish, arrogant, reprehensible, idiotic, lying? I could, words just fail me to find a descriptor for this man as to how bad he is on a human level and a manager level. Because people will be like, but Maz, you don't know what he's like. He might be a lovely man outside of Tottenham Hotspur, and he might take you for a beer and have a good laugh. Yeah, but that's not the guy I'm seeing on the screen. So I'm only going to judge him by what I see and how he presents himself to the public. And based upon that, he's got to be one of my most hated managers I've ever encountered in my whole life from any other club, right? He's got to be up there. I would take any one of the previous Arsenal managers over him. That's how bad I hate him. That's how little I think of his footballing nous. And I remember warning everyone before Ange even came about, do not just want good football, because that type of thinking, right, is what will be the downfall of our great club, because you're sacrificing ambition and winning and competitiveness just for a fantasy, an ideology, right? Communism is great in theory, right, which is why people love it. But in actual reality, right, it's been proven that it's not very good, right? Lots of people end up dying in those types of regimes, right? And half the fan base or more have been duped by it. All they want is good football. They handed out Jose, right? They even handed out Pochettino near the end, right? And they've handed out Conte, and they handed out Nuno. And I'm guilty of the Nuno front, because I didn't think he was very good. But that's partly because our main player's down tools under him anyway. So that was never going to work, regardless of whether he's a good manager or not. But here we are in this surreal reality that we call Tottenham Hotspur, and we have to now endure this week in, week out. And as you guys have said, and the stats and all the stuff that's been floating around since last night, is he our worst ever manager?
Yes.
Like points wise, he is our worst ever manager, right? So here's what I find really sad and worrying, that you still have people making YouTube videos saying that we should get behind the manager and get behind the players. Right? You don't blindly support something, right? You have to use your brain, right? You have to be convinced, right? They have to bring you along for the journey. They have to show you that what they're doing works. And this man has done none of that. He failed to build a community around Tottenham, right? He failed to convert people. Well, he certainly converted people. Whether or not he converted the right sort of people is another question, right? But he failed to show us anything after those 10 games that would suggest that he will be successful at the club. Yet, he lies every week, and people let him get away with it. Outright lies, outright contradictions. Yet Conte, right, told us the truth, right, and everyone was up in arms every week because he was telling us the truth. So people would rather hear the lies than hear the truth. It's unbelievable, guys. I'm literally gobsmacked at how people think, right, and how people are supporting our great club. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. That it has become a cult. It has become a cult because people are willing to suspend the reality, what they're seeing with their eyes, to believe this fake ideology, right? This jam tomorrow type mentality, right? And this is why we've fallen so bad, because they've enabled the guy at the top to instill this whole entertainment money-making machine without holding him to account from day one, from when he decided to knock down White Hart Lane. They never held him to account, right? And awful, absolutely awful. So that's my rant over. Anyway,
rant. I like it.
No, I listen. I think you're absolutely right, mate. Look, I do feel like certain people don't quite understand sarcasm. Look, said man could call Levy a hero. I mean, like, first of all, tell me you're a rude boy without telling me you're a rude boy. Man could call Levy a hero, even though he created this whole situation. I think I was being facetious, sarcastic, whichever one you want to approach. The problem I've got, R1 Spurs, is the only man that can solve this problem is Daniel Levy. That's the problem. Whether I like Levy or not, he is the only human being in this world right now that can call Ange into a room and say, sorry, Ange. You're
Scott Mum could as well. Scott Mum could do it as well.
Sure, Scott Munn. But from what I've seen, I don't know what Scott Munn is. I've never seen him do anything. But you get my point. Yeah. I need Daniel Levy to get back to being Daniel Levy. Doesn't mean I like Daniel Levy. I think people take things a little bit too seriously.
Savva. Wait. Hold on, Savva. Right, hold on, Savva. Savva, wait until we get our players back. Just wait. Mate. Wait until we get our players back, because when they come back, he's going to reconfigure that team, right? And we're going to be cooking, right? That's one of the lies that we've been told for the last 2 years, right? Savva, can you imagine, right, in your job, right, or previous jobs, being called into your boss's office, and they're saying, Savva, last year you made me 20 grand. This year, you made me 18 grand.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for yourself? And then you respond to him, but boss, we're only 4% down. We should celebrate the fact that we're only 4% down. You know?
I'll do that to my boss, Maz.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'm cupping the ears. What you got to say now, boss? I've done a deal. Look, Maz, the worrying thing for me, I think I love that rant. I'm going to definitely clip that rant. You're going out live on my show later. Look, what you're right about is all the people that are still supporting him, Maz, there is no rhyme or reason now. There's nothing. We've heard everything for 2 years. We've heard that this guy, watch what he does in his second season. Yeah. Watch didn't happen. Watch the entertaining football. Right? There's no entertaining football. We need to hit the bottom of the V and go up. That's what Ange teams do. The injuries. It's the worst injuries ever. How long have these players been back now? And if I'm not wrong, guys, tell me if I'm making this up. I feel like it's getting worse. Not just from the football. The football is getting worse, but our discipline is getting worse. The players' discipline. Son and Maddison mouthing off to each other on the side of the pitch, saying the same thing every week. Players getting yellow carded. Manager rowing with fans during the game, after the game. Everything's got worse since the players come back. And I hate to say it, and this has been my line all along, it's the tactics. And I'm going to show you why.
Yeah, Savva, let me just quickly answer it, then I'm going to piss off, right? Because I've really got to get on, right? That's why I've always said it doesn't matter what team we pick, right? It doesn't matter almost what formation he picks, because his tactics, his ability to coach and train the players is so bad that it's all of that now for me is irrelevant, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what we think about the players. Doesn't matter. Everything has gone so bad, right, that you can't even judge the players anymore, because, Van der Ven and Romero, regardless of what we think of how good or not they are, whether they're world class or not, they're better than what we are in the league, 14th to 17th. Yes, they're much better than that, right? So do I blame them for like individual mistakes and stuff like that? Yeah, I guess you can. You could say, where's their professional pride? Where's their coaching from a young age? Where's the decision making? But I think we've all been in a scenario whereby you have a leader or someone you look up to that you can see is making wrong decisions, or they haven't, and their wrong decisions, the evidence bears out that they're making wrong decisions, yet they're still saying to you, no, we've got to do it this way, no, I know what I'm doing, right? And you can't go, your inner soul, your mind just can't go along with what they're saying, right? And you're never going to reach that 90% plus efficiency in performance and all that sort of stuff where you're excelling in your job, because you don't believe in what they're telling you, right? And that is what's happening at Spurs. Those players, even if they back him in terms of, he's a good guy, I like Ange and all that sort of stuff, in their heart and in their minds, they don't believe in it, because when you're getting pumped every week, right, their eyes don't lie. They know they're getting pumped, right? And their mates from other clubs are texting them saying, God, you lot are shit. Right? Of course they are. They're ribbing each other all the time, football players and stuff. So, and that's why he needs to go, right? And we need to get another man, even if it's Ryan Mason, right? Anyone's better than Ange. Don't care what anyone says. I would even take Stellini. Stellini, please come back. Please come back, Stellini.
I'm going to make some apology forms. I'm going to make some apology forms with two geezers. One that's going to make Nick very happy, just to make Nick happy after he had to sit through that. Like, we need an apology form for Emerson Royale because
no, we don't.
We need an apology for, and he leaves. We need an apology form for Emerson Royale, and we need an apology form for Radu Dragusin because these Ange fans have been absolutely slaughtering Radu Dragusin this year, calling him shit. Can't play football, can't do this, can't do that. He's useless. His agent, this. All of our best performances have been with Radu Dragusin at the back.
Agreed.
I want everyone in the chat to spam it. Hashtag justice for Radu Dragusin. Justice for Radu Dragusin. Every single
even Ben, I'm going to say this. All of the players we got rid of, why did we get rid of them? Because under Ange's system, they would have been just as good as anyone else in the team.
They were better.
That's how bad they were. Eric Dyer, please come back. I'm sorry, Eric. Honestly.
We were better with Emerson Royale at the back.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to go. Good to see you, Ben. I'll probably see you on the weekend. Savva, I know you're not going to be there, so see you later, Savva. Thanks for having me on, and I'll chat to you later.
Do you know the one? Big up, Maz. Take care, mate. Do you know the worrying thing about this is I'm seeing a lot of players that are always blamed are the ones that don't seem to play. Right now, I'll give you a few examples. Everything gets blamed. By the way, I don't think he's any good on Timo Werner. Right? Everything gets blamed on Yves Bissouma. Right? Bissouma's the one not playing. Our midfield looks worse than ever. I know people don't rate Yves Bissouma, but I think our midfield looks worse without him. I think when you watch it without him at the moment, Bergvall, talented, but at the moment in these tactics looks like a headless chicken. I'm not blaming him, Ben, before people in the chat have got me.
I like Bergvall, but he's the best player in the world at making himself look like he's actually doing something.
I agree.
He actually doesn't do it. But that's where an 18-year-old needs to be, has a manager's like Harry Redknapp needs an arm around him. Listen here, you're my boy. I'm going to coach this into you. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm going to show you. Yves Bissouma has been crap this year, but when Bissouma is there, he actually knows what he's doing. And I feel sorry for Yves Bissouma because he's played his entire career as a box-to-box number 8, and he's been told he's now a holding midfielder, and he's not a holding midfielder. No. He's not good enough with the ball at his feet. He's good at running into space with his pace, with his power, with a bit of languidness. He's a bit he's unconventional with the way he runs. So he's able to go through players. I've seen Yves Bissouma lock down one of the best strikers I've ever seen in Harry Kane. Yves Bissouma is a good footballer. We're not coached.
But the problem is, though, you look how, for months, I mean, I've been arguing with Lubo on here. I've been arguing with Stell and others on here for months. Everyone's going, but Bissouma can't embed. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and die on a hill for these players. I don't care if any of them get sold. But I've said all along, it is the tactics. It is the tactics. And let's have a look. I'm going to show you how it's the tactics, guys and girls out there. This was sent to me earlier, and I just thought this was hilarious, really. I'll add words to this picture in a minute. But look at this. This is Tottenham Hotspur in possession, right? This is Tottenham Hotspur in possession. Our central midfielder, Bergvall, and our central midfielder, Bentancur, are playing almost
centre
backs here, right? Mickey van der Ven, circled in the middle of the pitch, is in between 3 Chelsea players. Romero's out here at right back, and Jed Spence, I believe that is.
Yeah, that is.
The circle as a right back. Look at the state of that. This is Tottenham with the ball. This is Tottenham with the ball. Why are Bentancur and Bergvall the furthest players back? Why is Jed Spence in the centre circle? Why is Romero at right back? This is what we are. Now, this goes on, and somebody said Ange ball, our right back in centre mid, our centre back at right back, our other centre back walking back to his centre back, our centre mid at centre back. It's the injuries, mate. Now, Ben, this is the whole point of me bringing this up. This nonsense now from all fans needs to stop about injuries.
Yeah.
It was never about the injuries.
Yeah.
It was always about the tactics. And I've maintained the whole time, when the players are back fit, we will look the same because of the tactics.
Yeah.
Is this now being justified, Ben, from what
100%.
we've seen the last however many
100%.
games?
Even teams with injuries, Bournemouth are in a bit of a rough patch at the moment. They're 10th, but they actually have got loads of injuries, but they're still 10th. And I expect a team like Bournemouth to be 10th because of the size of the stadium, the size of the club. This is a team with really, really high quality players. It is the tactics. The injuries have saved his job. The injuries have saved his job because he had an excuse to Coglou, or as expressions called him last night, Fraud Flintstone.
Flintstone. I love that. I love that.
Fraud Flintstone and his Stone Age tactics.
It's mad.
It's disgusting. There is no coaching. There is no positional awareness. There's no patterns of play. There's no normality. There's no normality. There's no routine of how you play football. How's there a routine when Bentancur's at centre back, Romero's at right? Where's the routine? Football is all about routines and patterns of plays. That is what football's all about.
It's mad. Listen, it's and again, R1 Spurs, and as far as Basuma goes, the tactics haven't changed from Ange's first game. They have. We weren't playing like this in the first games. In the first 10 games, we weren't. In the first 10 games, we actually played some nice stuff. We looked like we had a pattern and a shape. So this isn't true. This isn't true at all. But my point is, it's not that, Basuma's amazing. R1 Spurs, you've got a problem with listening, I've noticed. My point wasn't that Basuma's great or better than any of the others. My point is, Basuma's been a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Maddison's a scapegoat, right? This player's a scapegoat. That player's a scapegoat. Brennan Johnson's a scapegoat. At what point are we going to turn around and go, none of these players are... He's getting the best out of none of them. Now, here's another post that was sent to me. Right? It was, sorry, not that one. That's not the one I wanted. Sorry. Was it this one? That Paul O'Keefe said, everyone knows the disgrace that the board are at Tottenham when it comes to hamstringing managers. But that excuse isn't valid when the manager is clearly not getting anything from the team. Two things can be very wrong simultaneously. Postecoglou is the wrong horse to back here. Now, I don't agree with everything Paul O'Keefe says. I do there. I do think he's absolutely bang on the money. And this is the point. Whether we think Levy backs teams, whether we think these players can win us league titles, which we know they can't, this manager is getting nothing out of any of them. He's managed to make Son look like a very bad winger. He's managed to look Solanke. I don't rate Solanke particularly, but he looks even worse than I remember him. He's managed to make James Maddison look like a guy that can't be a playmaker. Basuma now is not what he used to be. Bentancur is not what he used to be. Bergvall I won't go to because he's still an 18-year-old kid. Right? He doesn't get the fullbacks. Udogie. I've never been a massive admirer of Udogie, but Udogie now looks like one of the worst players I've seen at Tottenham. He looks dreadful. Van de Ven and Romero. He's great. But Van de Ven and Romero, I'm watching them going, has anyone coached these two how to be a partnership? Has anyone told them not to go fine? Everything Paul O'Keefe has said there, for anyone that didn't get to read that, there it is again. Just saying two things can be very wrong simultaneously. Ben, the be-all and end-all is this manager is out of his depth.
Yeah.
This manager is, I wouldn't say cracking under pressure. He's cracked. He's gone. This egg has splat everywhere. There isn't just a... You know when you boil an egg and you see a little crack and you go, oh, there's that the white stuff starts coming out.
Yeah.
Now, this is complete. The shell's gone. It's gone everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got to go now. Forget Savva's got an agenda against Ange. I think I've been fully justified now. This guy's got to go, Ben. He's got to.
I think we all need to be spamming Savva as a happy clapper for saying we'd finish 7th this year. How dare you, Savva, for being positive? How dare you?
I got dogs of you. You know what? The funny thing was, when I did actually put that up, do you know the biggest thing that got thrown at me about this, Ben? When I actually put this up, the biggest thing that got thrown at me was, what, you think Chelsea and Villa are going to finish above Spurs, right? As it stands, Aston Villa are 14 points above Tottenham Hotspur, right? 14. And Chelsea are currently, let me just work this out, 34. Chelsea are 18 points clear of Tottenham Hotspur. And I had fans going that, like Dave Irish Hotspur, love Dave, by the way, nothing against Dave.
Love Dave,
but when Dave put out his video and we all gave our predictions for the season, the abuse I got from his comment section. This guy's not really Spurs. Savva does it for clicks and likes. Where are those people now saying, you know what? Sorry about that, Savva. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But where are those people going, maybe these people weren't being negative. Maybe they did see how bad the manager was.
It's a really sad. It's it's bad. When I left my house today, I had the gardeners, and both the gardeners are West Ham boys. When both the gardeners, who are the most miserable West Ham fans alive because they support West Ham, they probably are going to be miserable. They turned around with a massive smile on both their faces and went, "I bloody love Ange. I bloody love Levy. They're doing a wonderful job. Keep them in." When West Ham fans are saying that to you, you know something's wrong. You know something's wrong. It's
massively.
It's entertainment for the masses watching Tottenham be this bad. And do you know what? And as we have seen, the worst ever loss rate in the history of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Not in the Premier League era, not in the Division 1, not in Division 2, ever. 143 years of sample size, and he is the worst loss rate ever.
Look him. Look at this.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Let me go quickly to some super chats. Big up to, first of all, Tom. Nice meeting you last week, buddy. Hope you're well. So big up, Savva. Come on. Let's get to 17K. Tom, I'm happy to announce we have just gone past the 17K mark. So thank you, everybody, for helping me get there. We are on 17,002 subscribers. So I really do appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tom. Lovely to meet you last week. And thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. Mark Taylor, also a member for 8 months now, said, no excuses. Players have just come back from injury. Give them more time. Yeah. Ange out. Ange Colt out. Mark, the funny thing is, they haven't just come back now. Romero's been in this team for the last 4 or 5 games now.
Yeah.
All of these players have been back. Adogi's been back for ages. Solanke's been...
I saw it on Facebook last night, Savva, from a Spurs fan, apparently. He said, losing 1-0 to the 4th best team in the league isn't such a bad thing.
Oh.
We should be more patient. What? They should have been 3-0 up in the first 10 minutes.
I'd like Ange, I think is he saying Savva's ego is the same as Ange? No clue about football.
Do it. You got to do it.
Anthony, I've been right about Tottenham for the last 2 years. I'm not really, I say the last 2, but I'm not really sure what you mean by that. But if my ego is a problem for you, there's a button which says switch off. I mean, feel free to switch off. Big up to, Blaine. Very generous. Blaine. 10 Football Heritage TV memberships. That's very, very kind of you, Blaine. I really appreciate that. Let's see who they've gone to. Those super chats, let's hope it didn't go to anyone who's been having a pop at me. Those memberships went to DJM1, James Bond, who was hiding, Nkosi, Broderick, Pels, Mike Zappa, my old airport friend, Remy, Rinketic, James Flower, Min Chi as well. So big up to you. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. It's very kind of you, Blaine. And then if that wasn't kind enough, he comes in with a super chat and says, congratulations. Been watching too much RuPaul with the wife. Congratulations on the 17K, Sav. Probably more subs than Ange has fans these days. I wish that was true, mate, but so many back this guy. I'll show you this, right? Blaine, I got sent this last night, and somebody actually said this. I kid you not. Somebody actually said this. That I promise you, I'm not making this up, right? Am I wrong for still believing this team and manager? And the person underneath said, no, that was Spurs' best performance at the Bridge in years. Even game. Mate, I kid you not. These things happen. These people live amongst us. Big up to you, Blaine. Vinny has said it's pointless to discuss Ange's tactics. It was obvious last year he was out of his depth. What's truly shocking is how awful he is as a person. How can someone consistently mock his own like that? Vinny, simple. We're not his own. Yeah. He's not one of us. He's not. When he goes, we will be here. Before he came, we were here. He's not one of us. He's somebody getting paid £5 million a year and then talks about not loving football anymore. And get out. Just not you. Big up to you, Vinny. Get out. Thank you very much for that.
I agree with him, Savva. I don't love football anymore because of him.
Well, Ange has made me not love it. Just quickly, the last two. Anthony Clark giving me a super sticker as well. Very generous to you, always with the super stickers. Love it, mate. Thank you very much. And somebody else who loves a super sticker, DMB forever. Thank you very much, mate. Really, really do appreciate you. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed. Please keep subscribing and subscribe to the coffee company. Ben, feel free to whack your link in, mate. Come on, okay. You know the drill. Guys, girls, I saw this as well. Jamie Redknapp said this. Jamie Redknapp said, if they weren't still in Europe, I don't think he'd still be the manager. They've been that poor. He knows the price of the ticket. You don't lose 16 games at a club like Tottenham. Yes, they've had injuries, but that's not good enough. He's got to win the cup. If they win the cup, they're creating history. If they don't win it, they will be history. It's all or nothing for Ange. They are capable because they've got the players to do it, but they need the spirit. The thing that worries me about that comment there, courtesy of Chris Cowling, big up Chris Cowling, the problem with that is we're talking about the players to do it, but not the spirit. He doesn't mention there that we haven't got the tactics to do it.
Yeah.
We haven't got the setup to do it, Ben. Isn't that
like they think football is I know football's a simple game. You need to be coached tactically.
Yeah.
You need to be coached. You can't just turn up. It's not like going to Hackney Marshes or going to the park with your mates. You turn up, oh, you know what? I'm playing striker today. No, you've got to have a plan of what you're going to do. Well, there's no plan. There's no plan for any game, any opposition, any philosophy of football against. We're just going to turn up, Hackney Marshes, put the jumpers down, and what happens, happens. You can't act like that in professional football.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing on the training pitch because Ange isn't taking training. What's Matt Wells telling them? What's Ryan Mason telling them? What's Mile Jedinak telling them?
But apparently we're told that they're telling them what he tells them. This is how he wants to look at those tactics. Let's be brutally honest, Ben. Yeah. And I'm not advocating Ryan Mason. However, I'd take him for the last 8 games in Europe.
Oh, I would.
Under Ryan Mason, when he has been in temporary charge, we've never looked like this.
No.
We've never looked like this. Yeah. We simply haven't, Ben. We haven't looked like this. We haven't set up like this.
It's the worst I've ever seen Tottenham Hotspur in my life. It's the worst I've seen Tottenham. It's the worst I've seen Tottenham. And I know I've only been a fan sort of 30 years, well, nearly 30 years now because I'm 30 this year. I've never seen Tottenham this bad. This is the worst Spurs team in the history of the football club, in context. Yeah. And that's including years we were relegated. That's how bad this team is.
Mate, it is so bad. I mean, look, let's have a look at a few things that were sent to me last night. I mean, this is massively concerning. And please bear in mind that this was actually sent just before the final whistle. Somebody said, look, if you look at the loss percentage rate for Tottenham, the worst it was before this year was 1913. So just before the First World War, right? If I'm not wrong. Yeah. Just a year before the First World War, 52.6%. Before that, 1935. And then we've had 4 years where we've had 50%, right? And the message went on to say, if Spurs lose this match, which of course we did, it will be a 53.3% loss rate. And that's the worst in our 143-year history. Now, I can't believe that anybody, I can't believe that anybody on the board, Daniel Levy, is looking at that and not considering pulling this trigger. Something must be happening behind the scenes. I would love to believe that right now, Daniel Levy is in a room with Ange Postecoglou somewhere. In my heart, I want to believe that. I want to believe that he's going, sorry, you're making us look silly. You're making the club. I know that my heart is wrong on this. I know that my heart is wrong, and I know he's going to be here.
Levy is scarred probably from the Mourinho situation. He doesn't want to sack a manager, but we're not winning nothing. We're not beating Frankfurt. We're not beating Lazio. We're not even going to beat Man United at this rate. I know we've beaten Man United this season already, but they seem to be putting performances in Europe. I don't even think we'll beat Man United. That's how bad we are.
Mate,
I don't even think we'll beat Southampton.
I think we will. I think what we'll do, they are that bad, Southampton. This is the worst ever Premier League team, right? Factually, we will beat them. And then what will happen is we'll get loads of videos made about, the Ange haters, we're back. See what happens when you back a team. No, see what happens when you play a crap team. The problem we've got here, Ben, is if we look at yesterday's game, from minute one,
hopeless,
right? You could see what the tactics were. And again, when Van der Ven and Romero are back, we won't get caught out. After 54 seconds, Ben, one diagonal ball through the middle, Romero and Van der Ven at 6s and 7s, too high up the pitch. And luckily, the clearance from Van der Ven onto Jackson hit the post and bounced out. But for me, it's about setting that tone. And that tone immediately said that. I know you've got to jump for 5. Go on. You've got to jump in 5. Oh,
I'll go jump in 5 minutes. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, go. But it set the tone, Ben. It showed straight away. What happened to managers saying, you know what? Keep it tight. First 5-10 minutes.
What do you say, Savva? Don't do anything silly.
Don't do anything silly. What do we do? 54 seconds. Yes. Right. Yes. Anyone other than Ange. Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
I take you, Albie. I take you as the manager.
But when sorry. By the way, no, Philip, Chris wasn't saying those things. Jamie Redknapp was saying those things. I just stole the comment from Chris Cowlin. Problem is, Ben, then for the rest of that first half, we just looked void of ideas. We had a spell where we had about 50 passes, but all sideways in midfield. And then the moment we had to make the first pass into the final third, Udogie gave it away. 2 passes, Chelsea are through on goal. Surely we're all seeing this with our eyes.
That's
Ben.
the 8th time this season we've not had a shot on target in the first half, right? It's the 8th time this season. Attacking football, eh? Attacking football where we don't shoot.
Oh, God, it's so embarrassing. Like, there's bad. Like when people say to me, oh, we'll go back to the 90s. I don't remember feeling this embarrassed. I don't remember feeling this embarrassed.
At least we had some hope in the 90s. We had Jurgen Klinsmann and Popescu and Dimitrescu, and we had Ginola. We had some quality footballers. Now we've got nothing. Nothing. There is nothing on that pitch that I keep on getting told I've got to believe. I hate being told I've got to believe in something when I can't see it. I want to see. I want to be able to see to believe. I'm constantly told I've got to believe, and then they dish out that.
Do you know what this is? You're right. Don't do anything silly. Does something silly immediately. It's just you're saying to yourself, you're away at Chelsea, right? Now we can sit here and say this isn't a vintage Chelsea team, and I agree. But what it is, it's a well-coached Chelsea team. They looked well-drilled. And I remember people coming on here giving me stick when I said, Cucurella's a good signing. Look how good Cucurella was yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, look how good Chalobah was yesterday. Look how good Fernandes and Caicedo were yesterday. But all you hear is, we're better than them. They're just coached.
All the people that said we're going to smash Chelsea, we're going to beat them 4-0, 4-1s, 4-0s, 4-0. What?
Yeah, by the way, yes, there is breaking news on Sky Sports, by the way, that Kevin De Bruyne will leave Man City this summer. I don't think it's a big surprise for anybody.
I'd have him.
Not in these tactics, I wouldn't. Not with Ange. Not with Ange.
Make him play a manager. Make him play a manager. I'll take him.
Lumen saying you won nothing in the past. Lumen, you need to do your research. We're the sixth. We've won the sixth most trophies of every team in England.
26 trophies, 28 trophies, isn't it?
Yeah. So I feel like if you're going to come in and troll, be accurate at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be accurate. John C13 has said, don't even care how bad the manager is. Now the man himself is horrible. Easily agitated, arrogant excuse. Ben, I think this is what is turning a lot of people now. Yeah. It's not just that the football shit. It is that this man he comes across so bad, doesn't he?
Yeah. I've never seen a football manager this aggressive towards his own fans. I've never seen it. I've never seen a manager this angry at his own people. I can understand him giving it back to that one or two fans that are giving him abuse, and you should never give a manager abuse. Abuse is not acceptable in any form of life. But when he's shushing the entire crowd, when he's goading the entire crowd and disrespecting the entire crowd, that's aimed at all of us. That's not just aimed at just those fans in the away end. That's aimed at every fan in the world that supports Tottenham Hotspur, including the ones that support him.
When you're saying they were there for the taking, I don't know what this means. If we're going to be brutally honest, I don't know what that means. The team I watched for Chelsea didn't look like they were there for the taking. I thought Chelsea looked really well organised at the back. They were really, really well drilled in midfield. I don't know, Phil. It feels like this is another throwaway comment. But Lumen, you've got to do your history, right? When we had Klinsmann and Ginola and those Ben mentioned, at the time we had David Ginola, who was the shining light, and Klinsmann came back to help us from relegation. We were that bad. Back in those days, we knew why we were bad because the team was terrible. Now we know we're so bad because of how we're set up, Lumen. I feel like people just really do come out with some really silly comments without knowing their football history. Look, Ben, I know you need to jump in a minute. So just before you go, let me ask you, is this guy going to get right the way through to the Europa League? Is this guy going to play until we get sacked, until we get knocked out? Or is he going to...
After last night, he should have been gone this morning. You can't do that. But in the all words, Savva, I want my Levy back. I want my Levy back. I want my Levy back.
I agree.
Give it to a competent football manager to the end of the season.
Sorry, I'm just looking. What a great comment that is. What a great comment. They are a clownish proposition under Ange Postecoglou. What a great comment that is. It's true, isn't it? We're clown-like. It's the funny thing is, just before you go, the funny thing is, I've said this to everybody. I've rammed it down people's throats. It doesn't matter if Van der Ven and Romero at centre-back, or if Graham Davis are there, or if Danso and Dragashin are there. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but when I've heard this all year, oh, but that goal we conceded, if Van der Ven had been there, what? If Van der Ven had been there, what?
We were better with Dragishin and Gray at the back. We were better.
Unbelievable.
We were better.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, dude, let me let you go. I know you need to go.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining, Ben, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. And please, everybody, get over and subscribe to the Coffee Company, and please put your link in, Ben.
Will do. We're live later with someone. I'm probably just going to scream into the void later because I'm doing a dual stream with myself and Tottenham on tour because Mr. Daigle has landed in the UK today. So Mr. Cucurella has returned from Canada, and we're going to have a rant today. So join us over on the Coffee Company and, of course, on Tottenham on Tour, the world-famous home of Levy out. And we're going to have a good show today. It's going to be fun. But thank you, Savva, for having me on as always. And we will speak later. Up the Orient, apparently.
And you, mate. Up the Orient.
Up the Orient.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Phil, again, it's another throwaway comment. There's a huge difference between did we have moments to hurt them and were they there for the taking? I thought, let's be fair, if Chelsea could finish their dinner, Tottenham Hotspur would have lost that game 4 or 5-0. I mean, some of the chances they missed when they were through on goal, and I mean, you know, Vicario with some great saves. I think you watch a different game to the rest of us, Phil. I don't know. The rest of us are watching a terrible, terrible Tottenham. And we watched a composed Chelsea that didn't look in much danger. I think we had that one good chance, didn't we, from Son? What else did we have? We had one good chance from Son at the end. Can't really remember a lot we did. I just feel like we're just saying nice things. This is why me and you row in the WhatsApp group. You come out with these things as though you didn't watch the same game. Whip5 has said we sacked Mourinho before a final. So why is Ange still here? It beggars belief. At least Mourinho had experience of winning big trophies too. Ange has won tin pot trophies, to be honest. Completely agree with you. Yeah, Ange out all day, every day. And yes, he did win a trophy at Spurs. Yes, he did. People like Lumen go from show to show, just being trolls, not understanding football and think they're funny. They don't have a real name. They don't put their face on because they know they'd get too embarrassed because of the shit they chat. Exactly. Get the likes up, people. There's 655 of you in here. Only 225 likes. Come on, people. That's just over a third. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Also, big up to Curtis Jones. Thank you, Curtis, with a super chat. I said, as a Forest fan, that picture was insane. No manager should coach that. Hope you get a better manager, whether you win the Europa League or not. Curtis, me too, buddy. And I believe this is what you were referring to. It is utterly, utterly bonkers how Spurs are set up. It is bonkers. But you've got fans making videos. I saw YouTubers last night say, thought we played well. What? What are you watching? Like, it's utter madness. But big up to you. Really appreciate that, my man. Thank you very much, Curtis. Very generous people in the last couple of days. Corey has said, come on, Phil, think about it. If it weren't for Vic, agreed. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was a half chance, wasn't it? Like, it was a half chance. But I don't look at them last night and go, you know, they were there for the taking. I don't know. I feel like we come out with these throwaway lines to make ourselves feel better. We really do. Sorry, I say it as it is. Big up to Ben. Thanks for coming on. Please subscribe to the Coffee Company if you haven't already. Please, please, please do. Where are we? Where are we at the moment? No game plan. And Chelsea's game plan was to pop the ball over the top. Chelsea worked out very quickly. Let Spurs have the ball in that first half. Spurs will do nothing with it and then counter. And in the second half, Chelsea, I think, went a bit more on the offensive, didn't they? And penned us in. For the first 25 minutes, especially in that second half, they just penned us in. Noah says, Savva, side predicted the Ange-Postecoglou spot will get struggle this season. He's spotted on. I don't know what that means, Noah. Don't know what that means. Big up to you, though. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is why you're in the group with me and Phil. This is why me and Phil always argue. He says all these lovely things, then comes out with these crazy excuses for everybody. I don't understand it. Don't Ange cup in his ears. You just don't. Yeah. So yeah, just seeing that Kevin De Bruyne has confirmed he will be leaving when his contract ends at the end of the summer. What a player he's been. I'm at the point I just don't care anymore. I'm 58. This is just the most untrained team I've seen. Didn't go years. This almost looks like 11 players have turned up, right? On the 11 players have turned up on a Sunday morning after having a drink the night before on a Sunday league game, and some bloke's gone, right, you're a right back. Anyone left-footed? Me. You go left back. You know, no coaching, no tactics, and still fans back this. They back this. Fox on the Hill Prince said, Ange, I don't get it. These tactics worked against Motherwell, St. Mirren and Rafe Rovers. Oh, it's just truly embarrassing, isn't it? By the way, just bear me 1 second. Michael Bridge is on at the training ground. I just want to see what he's saying. 1 second. They're just talking about Ange regretting what he did last night. I just get rid of him. Get rid of him. Mark, it could have been a worse goal than yes, but Chelsea have not been great recently, and with a different manager, it would have been a lot closer than you saw last night. It's a faraway comment, isn't it? Chelsea weren't there for the taking. They were the superior team, and Chelsea should have battered us. And let's be brutally honest. Just for once, Phil, be honest, please. Just for once. You've backed this manager all year. You've been wrong all year. Jenna said, no, this isn't top. No, it's not. It's truthful. It's truthful. If you don't like it, if you don't like honesty, then you shouldn't be here. I mean, look, you're a troll with a silly photo, aren't you? So see you later, mate. Jamie Git has said, stat question, how many times do opponents score within the first 5 minutes of the start of the second half? Seems a hell of a lot, too often. Well, yeah, it's about coming out, isn't it, second half with the right mindset. It's about coming out with the right instructions from the manager, coming out being switched on. And unfortunately, we're not. We've got a terrible manager. Dude, I don't know. Name me one thing I've said that's incorrect and I'll agree with you. Name me one thing. I said Chelsea weren't great, but Spurs aren't good enough for anyone to be there at the taking. There's a huge difference, Phil. You don't listen. Chelsea haven't been great, but yesterday they were so well organised. They weren't there for the taking. If you watched the game, they weren't there for the taking. If you, Phil, you've just been wrong all year. This is what you do. If you predicted a 2-2 draw, why would you have a close scoreline? What? What does that? I don't even understand what that means. Because Phil, just because yesterday they weren't there for the taking, during the game they dominated everything. They were better in midfield, better up front, better at the back. During the game they weren't there for the taking. So you saying they were is again just factually incorrect. PH family has said, sorry, I'm going to say it, but I want to lose Southampton now. Anything that pushes this manager out. Mate, I'm at the stage where I don't even think they will sack him if we lose. Anthony, I hope so. If he does want to get the sack, just tell Daniel Levy you want the sack. Please. Gus has said, big up Gus, has said, this pitiful, toxic shout from these wet wipe Gen Zers. This is football. Maybe go and follow show jumping. It makes me laugh. Over here on this channel, me and many of you, we've been bang on about this manager for 18 months, maybe longer. And still people call it, still people call it negative and toxic. And it's trolls like this guy, isn't it? Let's just block this guy. He's an absolute twat. There you go. He's been blocked. No time for him anymore. Martin has said, Savva, you're 100% correct, bruv. Big up yourself. Love listening to you. You're 100% true, unlike some of the other Spurs fans I know. Listen, so many of these Spurs fans, so many of these Spurs channels have waffled for 18 months. They've lied to you. They've waffled. But I just want us to be better. No one's telling the truth. Many have. Many have. Loads of the channels, all the channels I work with. These other channels, you try and get them on. Don't want to come on. Don't want to say they've been wrong. Scott, big up to you, has said, bad to say, I'd rather lose all our remaining games so change happens. Yes. I mean, we're not going to lose all those remaining games, but I understand where you're coming from. Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we want to lose games anymore. This guy is just quite simply losing games all by himself. Dean said, I thought Chelsea were there for the taking, but this team under this manager was never going to be good enough to beat them. The thing is, when we say Chelsea there for the taking, Chelsea are fourth in the Premier League table. Do you know what I mean? I don't know quite what we're saying here. Savva, do you think Levy is in meetings now trying to find a manager to come in to replace him so he can sack him by the end? I can only hope. And I just don't think it's happening. I just don't think it's happening. I just don't think they will. Listen, if they do, they do. I just don't think they will. There'll be an excuse for that. The same YouTube channels, for example, coming out going, thought we played well. Sorry? I thought that's one of the worst performances I've ever seen in a London derby against Chelsea. I thought it was dreadful. Ange crying because Saar blatantly fouled somebody. It just seems mad. Luke Maggs said, when rival fans want you to keep your manager, you know he's shite. Absolutely bang on, Luke. Absolutely bang on. Yeah, no one wanted Poch to stay at Spurs because he was doing well. Martin said, I've fallen out of other Spurs fans because I said my true opinions about Ange Postecoglou. Well, what happened to all these videos? Tell fixes Spurs forward line. Danso fixes Spurs back line. Solanke, perfect for Ange ball. What Ange does, look at all these people making these videos. They make them and they get millions of views because people like hearing nice things. I get called a CUNT, negative, toxic, for being honest. It's the world we live in. It's the world we live in now, unfortunately. Ben has said, this manager is atrocious. Can't believe some of our own fans still want this guy. At this stage, I don't think they care about Spurs. I genuinely don't. They all accuse Levy of not caring about Spurs. But if you want Ange in, you clearly don't care about Spurs, do you? Pipes, big up to you, brother. Said the Ange groupies have too much pride to admit they made a mistake back in this clown. It would kill them to admit they've got it wrong. Bang on. They just can't do it. They just can't do it. Big up to the sheriff. Been recording. Loves it. Loves it. He's got the YouTube. He's got the YouTube itch. Big up to you, Mark. Hope you're well. The sheriff. Kuva said it's a big up Kuva. It's astonishing to hear some of these arguments. If you're negative, then Levy wins. So how is Levy put under pressure if everyone cheers all the time? Ludicrous take. It is what it is. We had moments in the game where I thought with more conviction and more desire to win the game from the start, maybe we could have. Yeah. Couldn't you say that under his entire tenure? I just think we're so badly set up. The players have switched off. Angus, big up. Said, Savva, all you need to do is watch that interview he did on Australian TV. Says it all, really. How arrogant Ange and I personally as well. And I know personally as well. Lots of people that have said they know this man say that he's not a nice guy and he's arrogant. You can see it in his press conferences. And there's one thing being an awful manager. There's another thing being a horrible person. And there's not 1% of me that feels sorry for him or wants him at this club. Not one bit. Mr. Battered, however you're saying it, 30 games in and Spurs haven't hit 40 points. This is a sackable offence any which way you look at it, except in Levy's eyes, weirdly enough. Something must be happening. Something must be happening. Daniel Levy doesn't normally act like this. Something must be happening. Something must be happening. I just fail to believe that it's not. Rich said, I'm not confident about us beating anyone after last night. Worried for Southampton. Danny has said a lot of stick coming Solanke's way, and I don't rate him, but he gets no service at all. Danny, I agree, but my problem is as a general footballer, he looks dreadful. He can't hold the ball up. He looks weak. He's a big guy. He looks weak, gets knocked off the ball easily. I agree. Listen, I never wanted him, Danny, is the problem for me. I never wanted this guy. He's got 7 league goals by the 4th of April. And I think it says everything for a club that has got like the 3rd most goals in the Premier League. Dean has said this manager is here for the season. That's the spirit, Dean. We just had the best part of 3 weeks to get rid of him and did nothing. Negligent and shocking from the board. Agreed. Makes me hate the board even more. Earlier, Ange said he thought it was a cracking match. Andrew, this man could. I just don't know. This man is just awful, isn't he? Just awful. Rob has said 14th versus 5th, and our fans at the front to say they were there for that. Rob, I don't get it. I get that this isn't a vintage Chelsea team. I get it. But honestly, the arrogance of our fans is unbelievable. The arrogance is just shocking. And I put this man in there. We're in a WhatsApp group together, me and him. We have a laugh. We get on. But being wrong all season, it must be hard being wrong all season. Anyway, sack Ange. Now for us to have any chance of doing anything in the Europa. I just don't care about the Europa anymore. I don't care. This has been such a bad season. I just feel it'll be embarrassing to actually win it. More Mko has said Solanke is a flop. I just don't think he's that good. I don't think he's terrible, but I don't look at him. I think he's great. Absolutely Rinketic. Come on. Let's not. Come on. Reese Rico Hubbard has said, big up Savva. Ange lovers care more about being right to back him than they do about the badge. It's so funny. When I watch these people having a pop at people like me and Stell, they always go, oh, the toxic fans, they don't get behind the club. They haven't got the club's best interests at heart. Whilst backing the worst manager we've ever seen. It is unbelievable. Marshall said, any team can have moments in games, moments swing and a foot. Absolutely. Alan said, Savva, didn't watch the match. Would you say the players don't want to? I don't think the players wanted to play for this man for over a year. The number of defeats tells you that. By the way, Kevin De Bruyne is going to leave Man City with 6 league titles, 5 EFL Cups, 2 FA Cups, 1 Champions League and 1 World Club Cup. So 11, 13, 15 major honours. What a career that man's had. Chelsea never did. You can't sack a manager. Nobody is coming. You can sack a manager. You can sack a manager at any time. Yes, you bloody can. Big up to my man, Anu. Very, very generous, my friend. Said, why do we always attack in the same way? Always through the flanks and try to pass to the first post or the back post, hoping someone will tap in. The opponents can see it even before the game starts because he can't coach a football team. He can't coach. That's the problem. He's got no way of making it different, Anoop. That's the problem. He's got no tactics. He's got no coaching ability. He hasn't hired coaches that could do it for him. Very generous, but I completely agree with you. We always attack in the same way. And people think it's called attacking football. It's shocking. Big up to you, Anoop. That is very, very generous. Thank you, my man. Really appreciate that. Another super chat here from a user. Big up to you, my man. How you doing today? Very generous again from you. Said, hey, Savva, hope you're well. I'm very well. A bit hungry, but yes. Said, Ange said, work in progress. Yeah, he's right on that one. We are progressing down the table very nicely. The lot out. I think it's just insulting to fans now, isn't it, when he says things like a work in progress. He's been here 2 years nearly. He's been here nearly 2 years and everything's got worse. He is a joke. And you summed it up nicely. Out. Like Mickey Flanagan said, out. Get out. Kuva said, to be fair, I was on the Ange train last season, but after it came off the rails multiple times, I decided to arrange my own transportation. There's nothing wrong with that, Kuva, right? There's nothing wrong. When he first came in, I said, seems like a breath of fresh air. But very quickly I went, nah, not for me. See you later. Nothing wrong with it. I'm always of the opinion, and I'm sure you are, Coover, that when new evidence presents itself, it's okay to change your mind. It's okay. You know, it's like all these people that want to back. Let's use Solanke, for example. Oh, this guy, perfect for Spurs. He's going to get 20 goals a season, blah, blah, blah. Same one's going, yeah, but it's not his fault. He doesn't get service. But you knew the way we played before he signed. And yet you still all made these crazy, crazy predictions for him. But, you know, positivity sells, unfortunately. And very generous, Jordan. Everyone's being very generous today. Said, hi, Savva. Ange should be sacked for his attitude towards the fans, let alone these hideous results. Daniel Levy should be ashamed of himself for not sacking this fraud during the international break and allowing this to continue. Jordan, first of all, thank you. Very, very generous indeed. Let's break that down. He should be sacked for his attitude towards the fans, and the results absolutely spot on. And Daniel Levy should absolutely be ashamed of himself. He's had 19 days in between games to sack this guy. Doesn't. And then we come back and that's what we see. An utterly gutless performance. Now, Jordan, like me, I don't know how old you are, but Jordan, like me, we've all seen Spurs lose to Chelsea and you go, all right, Chelsea are a better football team than we are. But not with that gutless performance, not with that utter shit show of a performance. That's the difficult thing for me that I can't wrap my head around, Jordan, is that the way they were set up, again, the ball over the top, again, he stands and watches it and does nothing to counter it. Chelsea works it out. Maresca, like every other manager, Jordan, as we know, when I know how to counter your tactics, Ange. Every manager does it. The only people that can't see it is half our own fan base. Every other fan base in world football gets it now. Mark, the sheriff, said, when is Poch coming home? Oh, mate. Do you know what? Ange Postecoglou makes Pochettino look like Ferguson, Pep, and Ancelotti all rolled into one, doesn't he? I agree on this. Big up to you, Phil. I don't know what I think it's 50-50 when we agree with each other or not. You could tell he has lost it completely. The pressure has reached its peak on Ange. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, mate. I did a video about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. Said Ange cracking under pressure. I don't think it's cracking now, mate. I think it's gone. It's cracked. You know, like, I don't know why I'm looking. I haven't got, but you know, like when you look at your ceiling and you might see a small crack and you think, right, let's get some polyfiller out and smooth that out and paint over that. And you leave it so long that you then look and go, oh, hang on, it's gone right away from one corner of the room to the other. Shit, right? That's what Ange is. We didn't acknowledge all of the cracks. Hello, Stewie. Hello, mate. Stewie's come to join us. Hello. Hello, where you been? You been eating? Probably been eating. The fat little git. Alexander Johnston has said, why is he not sacked after the cup? That's plenty to get rid of any manager. He should have been sacked last season. This season, he should have been sacked after Tamworth. Then after Liverpool. Then after Villa. Now, it's just every single week he finds a way to embarrass us. Billy has said you were being negative for predicting 7th. I just wonder what the Ange fans were predicting. Maybe league winners. Well, this is the problem, Billy. When I'm being called negative for predicting 7th, now that those same fans are all telling me, but the squad isn't good enough. Hang on, but you were predicting 3rd and 4th. What do you mean the squad isn't good enough? You told me it was great. Vince has said Spurs YouTubers supporting this Ange should take responsibility for preaching. I completely agree. Completely agree. They say people like me and Stella poisoning the fan base. They've poisoned the fan base with their toxic positivity and their lies. It's what they've done, isn't it? It's what they've done. It's a lot of these channels, though, you can see who doesn't understand football. Just support the team. Well, what's that mean? What does that mean? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's a lovely throwaway sentence. Daniela, big up to you, Daniela. How you doing? Said Spurs fan meltdowns are more entertaining than the team on the pitch. You're not wrong. You're not wrong, are you? Is there any realistic path to Levy out? Well, look, there's a lot of protests going on. I've always said I don't think the protests are going to do anything. I fully back all the guys that are doing it, but Levy, I've always said Levy and Enoch will sell this club when Levy and Enoch want to sell this club. That's always been my stance on it. Big up Corey, said I'm sure some of the fan base, I'm well behind on the comments, aren't I? I'm sure some of the fan base are the free monkeys of see no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, hear no evil. That's how they're coping. Yeah, it's mad. Mark, 160 million on those 3 players. Wow. But I actually saw Brennan Johnson yesterday get a crossing to the box. It was a phenomenon. It was an absolute phenomenon. Where are we? Nuno is manager of the month, is he? Fair play to him. Nuno as manager of the month. He must absolutely regret it. How many times yesterday did you see Maddison have to come to the edge of our own 18-yard box to get the football because no one gets it to him? Utterly crazy. And if we want to talk about things that are utterly crazy, if you want to subscribe even more, then you've got to get guys like this on your channel. Mr. Box Office, I reckon you're on your lunch break, are you?
I work. Savva, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. The illusion I actually work. That's Alex's job. That's Alex's job. We don't want to go to anything real here, don't we? You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on.
I apologize. Mr. Box Office, you said, I'm going to give you your massive props here. You said before this game came in, yeah, this wasn't right. It's not going to work. He's done nothing. Alex, fair play to you. I was one that said, give him a chance, Alex. You're being harsh. How right you were, Alex. How right you were.
Well, it's funny now. I've seen the light a little bit more because when you don't care anymore, Savva, you start opening your eyes even more. And now I'm saying ridiculously, after somebody on your show on Monday, I'm not going to mention him, but said about the finances, said that we're absolutely fine financially, aren't we? We're absolutely fine financially. And I said, well, if that's the case, that's why Ange is still here. Because everyone says, why are we sacking Ange? Why have we not sacked Ange? It's clear why we're not sacking Ange. Because you see the people in your chat who are Ange fans not turning on him. They're not turning on him.
Do you mean like this? You mean Ange fans like this?
Yeah, not turning on him. And financially, we don't need Europe. We're absolutely fine. And no fans are turning on him at the moment. You see the wages to turnover, right? Oh, yeah, Mr. Boxer, he's talking about wages and turnover. You didn't think I'm that smart? Yeah. But wages to turnover are very low. There's no risk. Sustainably, we've got no risk. We're risk averse. There's no jeopardy not keeping him here. We're not losing money. And he's taking the players that we're getting. He's working with the backroom staff that we are giving him. So he's perfect. He'll be next season. He will be here next season. I bet you any money right now, because my eyes are open. Because that statement from Levy was it's boom, nail on the head, nailed it straight away. And if you don't believe me, ask Kuva, because I spoke to Kuva, my boy Kuva, and I spoke to my boy Ismail, and he's saying the same thing I'm saying right now. Even Marlon's saying the same thing I'm saying right now. Because I'm sitting there saying, why would we sack Ange? Why do it? We've got there's a reason why we should be sacking Ange, because we've got the money to sack him. We have got the money to sack him. So it's definitely on the Levy. The only reason why we haven't sacked him, because this is the worst one, Savva, the worst one. And you're going to love this one. Paratigi's not come back, because Paratigi he can't stand him. You know he can't stand him. Yeah? And you know what's even better, Savva? I've got quotes from, the manager from Chelsea, yeah? You've already covered it. He says, I know exactly how to stop Tottenham. You know what I mean? It's like this week has just been like it just summed it up perfectly. Summed it up perfectly. You know what I mean? And I'll leave you with this, right? Because I've got to do this on my channel, yeah. Because I've got to take my flowers sometimes. You know what I mean? I've got to get my subscribers up. You know what I mean? But you know, it's like why is it? Like I said, and I might be repeating myself. I do apologise. Why is it that we can't get unknown managers at our club? That are coaches that are better than what we've got at the moment, because there are unknown coaches at the moment. Eddie Howe, someone tell me, would you have taken Eddie Howe after Bournemouth? Because I would have not taken Eddie Howe after Bournemouth.
I mean, it was an interesting one. Look, I think what Eddie Howe, the reason why I would have taken him, Alex, was because we learned at the time that he went away and studied with clubs like Atletico Madrid and was it Porto, and he went away and looked at other managers. But I get your drift. I think you're referring to how do Brighton find the likes of Hertzler, De Zerbi. So they're getting these managers. Spurs, it just seems like we go, nah, no manager's good enough. Where's our Hertzler? Where's our unknown? I hear you, mate.
Areola, the Stuttgart manager that we keep on pointing out. What is it? Igor Perez, who's assistant to bloody Areola, who's at Bournemouth at the moment. There are so many coaches out there, and these teams have got small networks, and they're finding these managers. We've got the money to get a bigger network and find better coaches than these teams. And you're telling us that we're run as a good football club. We're going to make a killing from that boxing match next in the 26th of April. So why do we care? We might as well keep Ange. He's the entertainer. He's entertaining the fans. That against Chelsea, right? When we started playing, when it started to get up and down, the game was exciting. That was when we were at our best. When we were slow and Chelsea were completely dominating, that's when we're at our worst. We can't control the game. We never can. It has to be an exciting game to us to be in control, and that's where I'm like, really? I mean, that was. I've got to say, but I want him out, right? I'm only being devil's advocate. You know what I mean? But that was embarrassing. That Sky Sports interview. That was embarrassing. I felt so sorry for the journalist. I felt so sorry for him. He was a nice guy.
Have you ever seen a Spurs manager give an interview like that to?
No, it's horrible.
After a game,
it was horrible. I was watching it. I felt so sorry for that Sky Sports journalist because he's just a nice guy, and you can see that he was getting worried because he thought, I'm worried about my job here. I don't want to say that, but you know, it sounded like he was just worried that he's pissed. He's getting his boss's nerves. You know what I mean?
Just quickly, Alex.
Big up Luke, by the way. Big up Luke, by the way.
Luke, you want him in. Luke, you want this manager in. You came on my show and backed him. You want this manager in. It's all adding up, Luke. Feel free to let us know when you join the club. Big up.
He talks a lot of waffle, but big up to him. I like him. I like his jib. I like his jib. But it's like no, just for me, not. Savva, I'm so done. I'm not going to the protest. I've said already, I'm not going to the protest. I've got other things I'm doing because I need to zone out. I've zoned out so done. I'm like Hoover right now. I'm like Hoover. Toys. Turn off, you Spurs. I should have done this after during Conte, because I felt the same way. And yeah, I'm not angry, but there's a lot now that I've opened my eyes to this now, and it's frightening. It is frightening now. You know what I mean? And the thing is, though, we're going to go behind because these teams like Everton are going to get ahead of us because they're building the big stadiums now. You know, teams like Nottingham Forest are going to get ahead of us now these days. They are going to get ahead of us because they realise what Tottenham are doing. We can replicate that. We can get that now, and we'll do a better job. We'll do a better job with the money that we get.
Alex, the worrying thing for me is I know all teams go through a difficult spell, right? I get it. Teams go through difficult patches. The problem is, Alex, this difficult patch has been nearly 2 years now. Definitely 18 months since that first defeat to Chelsea. We're now 36 games in 18 months. surely you get to a stage where, forget if you want to protest, if you're Ange out, Levy out, surely it gets to a stage where all of us fans go, enough is enough, right? Like, surely something's got to give somewhere in the Tottenham hierarchy, somewhere. Like, it's just...
But Savva, unfortunately, the guy that wanted to, you said it yourself, right? You said it yourself. Like, we're trying to protest, but it's all too late now because it's gone too far ahead now. It's gone too far ahead.
Great.
You know what I mean?
That's why I don't. That's why I don't.
That's the point. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's clear. It's clear. You know what I mean? Like, you see, I'm just not there anymore. I can't do it anymore because I just can't deal with it anymore. So that's the thing. But it's like, for me, like, the fact that Paratici didn't want to come back is so bad. Because even though I don't rate him that much, I still rate him more than what Johan Lang and Ding are doing. And I'm sorry, he would not stood for this. He would have said, sorry, who is this guy? Who's this guy speaking to the fans like that? Sorry, bye-bye, out the door. By the way, there's nothing wrong with having a coach for only 18 months. There's nothing wrong with that. We've always been like that. We just need a proper director of football that's got more control and controlling everything. He's got to be the consistent person. If that's the case, that's fine. But what we do is that we just a scattergun approach, and that's it for me. No strategy whatsoever, right? And it's all about money. It's all about money. It's nothing about the football. And that statement today, and when what was said on Monday against him, which I felt so sorry for him because I thought he handled himself really well, because I thought he passionized so much. But for me, right, that statement just showed me that we don't care about the football anymore. And it doesn't matter what we do because Europe does not matter anymore. We're risk averse. And for me, if in business, you've got to take risk. And we don't do that. And with the wages that we're doing at the moment, right, and with everything else that's going on at the moment with Tottenham, and this manager's doing what he's doing at the moment, we still not sacked him. You can see it. It's clear, absolutely clear. The only thing interesting right now is, do we get Europa League? Because at the moment, I'm still wondering if we can still beat Frankfurt.
Alex, I'm at the stage though, and I know people take this the wrong way. Yeah, I want Spurs to win a trophy. Right, but I'm at the stage where, for me, beating Frankfurt and maybe Bilbao in a final doesn't for me overshadow everything bad this manager does. It's been too long now. You know, it's been too long that we're watching these results. Listen, I've said all along, I don't think we're going to win it. Frankfurt, let's be fair. If the Frankfurt manager's got anything about him, he's watching these games for Spurs and going, they're a mess. We know how to get at them. Now, I've said I think we will win the home leg. I think we will win the home leg narrowly. It's whether or not we can go out to their ground, because their ground is going to be a massive cauldron of noise, right? The atmosphere. We've seen our players and our manager crumble. So I'm at the stage where, for me, even winning the Europa League, it doesn't change anything for me. Yes, thank you, we've won a trophy, but it doesn't change anything for me that we need a new manager at this football club. The league is 38 games a season, and in the league form is what we have to watch week in, week out. I can't watch this manager anymore, Alex. It is embarrassing. I'm at the stage where I'm on my watch-alongs, mate. I'm laughing at how bad we are. And the only reason I'm laughing, people who say I'm not a Spurs fan, the reason I'm laughing at how bad we are is because of how many fans want it. How many fans mistake this football for attacking football? It's terrible.
Savva, I feel the same way as you. I've said already, I'll sack him already. I'll sack him. So I'm with you. I'll sack him. But I'm worse than you. I don't even watch it. I try and find something else to do to not watch it, because I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Because I know what I'm like, so I just can't do it anymore. I've got to stay away from it. So listen, it is what it is at the end of the day. He hasn't learned. he hasn't learned, and the more he's carrying on doing the same thing. It's just, I mean, Eddie Howe's just absolutely embarrassed him as far as I'm concerned, because the way that he done that Carabao Cup game, and the way he was just so clever, and it was just, I don't know, and I just don't know where you can defend it anymore when you see managers doing that. And I think he's younger than him. He's got his own. His own coaching staff, and it's just working so well. And I wish I could have that. You know what I mean? I just wish I could have that right now. I'm so zoned out from him right now. I wish I did this under Conte. I've got to be honest. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, Savva, for me.
Right. Look, I completely agree with you. Look, Alex, I am going to wrap up the show now. So just bear with me 1 second. Big up to Rinketic, who said Spurs fans hype up 50 youth players while Chelsea has a clean sheet with 2 youth graduates. Spurs don't have a good youth system. Listen, I think Rinketic, I think the problem is, without getting into a deep conversation, I don't think we're ever going to know how good some of these youngsters are if they're not being coached. You know, I'm looking at these guys. We've brought in Tell, we've brought in Odeberg, we've brought in Yang. You've got someone like Mikey Moore sitting there. Why couldn't he have been given that chance? You know, this is the frustrating thing, but big up to you, my man. I really appreciate that. Val Taylor, welcome. You've become a YouTube member. Big up, Val. Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. Welcome to the FHTV family. Thank you very much. And then a user, very generous again, saying Levy keeping Ange. He deflects the heat from him. I think the problem we've got, a user, is you're 100% correct. But at the moment, it feels like there is now massive heat on Ange, massive heat on the owner. There is now massive heat on Lang. It feels like now the heat is boiling up to the point where at some stage it's just all going to explode. Big up to you, a user. Alex, thanks for coming on, man. Always love our chats. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much. Very generous today with the likes, subscribers. Thank you for helping me get over 17K. Please get over and subscribe to Mr. Box Office as well. Guys, I'll have a video later on FHTV2. It's bye, Alex. A video later on FHTV Plus, shall I call it? And it's going to be myself talking to Tap-In Tobes, and it's called A Quote from Tobes. It's his quote, not mine. Ange Postecoglou, a horrible manager. So watch out for that video as Tobes and I talk about that. That will be released maybe about 4:30 this afternoon. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your Fridays. Let's just all hope for that breaking news that he's been sacked. Can't see it happening, but I really hope it will. Take care. Let me just see, actually, before we end, let me just see if anybody is live. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. Where can I send you all? Save you the bother of having to do it. Here we go. Let's have a look. Content. Oh, why is it not showing me live? Here we go. Let's have a look. Who's live? Customization. Who's live that I follow? Redirect. Search for videos. Who's live? Mike's it'll be the two. Who's live? Live. I think there's only 3 live. I'll send you all over to It's LB. Big up. He's talking about Man City. Please, when you go over there, please smash the Savva raid. Say Savva raid. Take care, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.